Hello, my name is NicholassRivas. I sometimes talk about politics, sometimes talk about UFC, and today we're going to be talking about UFC. So today as I'm recording this, it is the big fight day, UFC 283. We are back in this bitch, baby, the first fight card of the year. And in doing so, I make predictions. I like to hypothesize on what's going to happen with the fight, but I think since the year ended, I didn't really talk about the prior year, and I'm a big UFC guy. I've seen every single card, every single fight night. And I think it's just best to just talk about the year before as we hype up for this one, because I'm sure you already have your predictions. I'm sure you already watched The Weasel, you watched the MMA Guru, you watched Keon Kimura, and you're like, I know who's going to win. So there ain't no point for me. So I just kind of want to reflect and talk about the fights that made me so damn depressed. So Volk v Korean Zombie.
Strong, you want to fight? Yep. All right.
He wants to fight.
He's good. Okay. Sure, he's fine. If he gets knocked down again, I think it's safe to say Herb might jump in. Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
That was a great fight for Volk, but damn it, it hurt seeing Korean Zombie get so blasted. I just didn't think Korean Zombie would be hurt that much. It would be that devastating. And it should have been a sort of predecessor for the next fight on my list. The next fight from my list. Max Holloway.
Wise to that head kick offering from Holloway.
Volkanovski's talking to him.
Pure legend in EA Sports UFC 4. Get the Northern Scrappers update now on Xbox.
Like, everything he's doing is beautiful. Look at that right hand. And then
Right now, after taking this beating, he has to be in shape, has to be ready. So for Alexander to do this and pitch this shutout against this version, tremendous.
So I'm a big Max fan. Y'all know this. I stay with my Hawaiian brothers. But seeing Volk destroy him, I shouldn't have been surprised. But goddamn, it hurt. I think, 2020, right? Hindsight. You know what I mean? That is such a clear cut. Like seeing what he did to Brian Ortega, seeing what he did to the Korean Zombie. Max, who did good against his Calvin Kattar fight. Who did, amazing actually. He didn't change, though. He was still taking hits, brawling. And that's why people love Max. But to see him fight Volk, we thought that he maybe has improved, but Max has always been Max. He is a brawler. He is a guy who's going to get in your face and swing. Volk knew that because he fought him twice and adjusted both fights. And even though I was rooting for Max, I should have seen it coming. And I think that's why it hurt the most, because you were just hoping that Max was going to come back in round 4, round 5. But he didn't. So it hurt to see, but I think this is the change of the new guard. Max is a great fighter, but Volk, just as he did to Jose, is the new champ. So, fucking hurt. Then it leads us to the one that hurt the most. Charles Oliveira versus Islam Makhachev.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah. All right, next one. No, I guess with Charles, we all have this kind of like disbelief on how easy it was for Islam. Seeing Islam take down Charles like it was nothing, seeing him have better striking, it just didn't make sense. Charles looked like the best striker amongst Gaethje's and Dustin Poirier's. Like, how do you say he's not a good striker? Maybe Islam is just that good. And I like Islam. I think he's a great fighter. I was shitting on him because I thought that he didn't deserve this title. I mean, he beat Bobby Green. He beat Dan Hooker. Not the greatest of the greatest, and all on short notice. So for me, it just didn't feel deserved. I think most people were rooting for, and I don't know why you would not, but I think most people were rooting for a back and forth. And we saw that. When there was a few exchanges, Charles looked good in his wrestling. He overestimated his own striking, thinking that when they were standing, that's where they should be at, and he was getting dismantled. So when they were on the floor, maybe he just wasn't that prepared because he was so shook by the striking. I don't know. I couldn't pin it. Charles didn't look the same, or Islam was just that good. And I think that's a hard pill for us to swallow, because in the world of Khabib versus Tony, many thought Tony had a chance, and I myself did. Seeing that, though, I'm like, maybe these Dagestani boys are just different. Now, any motherfucker can get got. Anybody can lose. But I think for the time being, it's going to be very hard for Islam to lose. And I think we just have to get used to that the Dagestani boys are just that good. Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. I'm surprised not much people are in the same camp of me. I like Kamaru. I think he's a good guy. I think he's funny. I think he's interesting. Like, yeah, he can be a little bit cringe, but I mean, who isn't in the UFC? The thing is, though, with Kamaru, I think he had a pretty good chance to just coast it, but he didn't want that. He could have just wrestled Leon. And even though Leon was defensively better than most expected, and I think Leon is a great champion, don't get me wrong, there are people in the division I think are going to dismantle him. I think Colby, I think Usman, I think Khamzat are better fighters than Leon. Even though I don't want to underestimate Leon, I think he's a great striker. There are people who will just hold him down in wrestling. Even though Leon can get out of it, and even though Leon should be prideful in the fact that he took down Kamaru, I don't think he has it to be the champ. And many looked at this as like a Rocky moment, and I think it deserved to be that. But I like Kamaru. I thought he was an interesting fighter, and I thought he was really cool as a champ. Maybe he had some boring fights, but not that I have seen recently. So I was very confused to see why people were rooting for him to just lose so badly. I guess it's just kind of the UFC scene, but I think what hurt the most and why I got sad was that guy was so close to becoming the greatest. And if he just kept fighting the way he was fighting in the prior rounds, he could have won, but I think he just put his guard down. No one else to blame but him. And I think that's what sucks. Imagine being so close to breaking those records. And it just shows the dexterity, the greatness of the likes of John Jones, George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, Demetrius Johnson. Kamaru's good, but he's not that good. He's amazing, but he's not that amazing. And I think he had the potential, but half the battle of all these greats was that they kept putting their foot on the gas. And I think Kamaru, he should have played defensive. He should have been boring. He should have been intelligent in that fight. And that's easier said than done. When you're tired as fuck, when you're getting your ass, handed to in a round that you thought you were better in, wrestling, it's hard. It's hard, but he had the potential, and he lost it, and he ain't gonna give back. That sucks. It made me sad to think like how close you were. You will never get back to that. That's a terrifying feeling. The next one, Jose Aldo versus Merab Dvalishvili. I'm not doing good with that name. Fuck you, Merab. Merab is a great fighter. I think everyone is hyped to see what this guy's going to bring to the table, given that now he's up there with the title contention. But, man, seeing Jose Aldo lose, it was just this hard pill to swallow. What do you do? I think Jose Aldo had all the potential to come back, but I think most forget that time is undefeated. Jose Aldo is still a growing person. He's still an older champ. He's still an older fighter. You don't get better with age unless you're Glover Teixeira. But even then, I have doubts of where he stands in the division to see what he's going to do today in this Jamal fight. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think, give it this. If you are a Jose Aldo and you retire on that, it's okay. Because he came back from being considered washed after the McGregor fight. It's nothing to be scoffed at. But man, it hurt because it would have been so cool to see another Jose Aldo champ run. But would he have even won? Are we delusional at this point? He solidified himself as the GOAT. That's all you can do. But man, it hurt to see. I think it was just kind of like you really are growing old when you see these champs just retire. Finally, and not many are going to give a damn about this, but Israel Adesanya. This fight makes me sad. I don't know how people don't get down thinking about this. I think because they hate Israel so much. And I get it. He is boring. I do like technical fighters, though. I think it's pretty cool to be a technical fighter, be really jab, run, jab. I think that's pretty interesting. I think if you're someone who's in the ring and you're thinking about what you would do, I just can't even understand that reflex. When I watch a Mayweather, I don't get what he does to make him do that. I like that. I think it's interesting. But to many, I guess it's not fun, especially when you have those Gaslam fights. People are like, I want that Israel. And I know that's just kind of the wearing the crown is heavy, whatever the saying is. But man, it really sucked to see that you were this close to beat the guy who beat you twice. And you didn't get it. Ugh, that's a shitty feeling. That's just an awful feeling. I don't know who you are and how you function. That just sucks. That's an awful feeling. But I know to many, they don't give a damn. I know to many, it's whatever. They just glad to see this boring champ be gone. Alex Pereira, how long does he have? I think he has a good chance to be in there for a while. So I'm not disheartened by the fact that we're not going to have a long-term champ. Because I think this is going to be a fun champ to have. But it did hurt to see you be so close to beat the guy. It is what it is, though, right? These are the fights that make us. These are the fights that break us. I hope to see Izzy come back. I think he's going to lose in the next fight, but we'll see. I'm going to post another video today. Try to do it before the big fights today. But, yeah, this is going to be a UFC day, guys. Thank you so much, and please watch if you watch, and if you don't, please watch.